Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex and today I'm going to be talking to you about what I would do if I was starting out on a holistic healing or holistic fertility journey. Fertility is an extension of our health as women. One of our body's main functions is to get pregnant. You are noisy. If you hear my dog in the background, she's here. She is always here and she makes lots of noise, so I apologize for that. If you're new here, I was diagnosed with something called primary ovarian insufficiency about 3 years ago now, and I was given very few options by conventional medicine, and so I set out on an alternative journey, and it gave me so many solutions that conventional medicine just did not give me. And I am now 3 years out. I'm still menstruating and I feel that my health is better off than it was when I was first diagnosed. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know I'm not a medical or health professional of any kind. This is not medical or mental health advice. Nothing in my videos is to be construed as medical advice. Please consult with a qualified health professional before making any dietary, lifestyle, or supplement changes. So the first thing that I would do if I was starting out newly on holistic fertility or healing journey would be to change my diet. I would do an anti-inflammatory diet of some kind. I would make sure that I am eating plenty of organic produce, getting plenty of protein, whether you are vegetarian or if you are not vegetarian, just making sure that you get enough protein for your body, especially when you're on a fertility journey or you are over 30 years old. It's really important to make sure that we're getting enough protein because our bodies start to kind of lose muscle much easier, and protein is so important for so many different processes in the body. So you can get enough protein if you're a vegetarian. Just make sure that you are following some kind of diet that agrees with your body and just something that is anti-inflammatory. If you are consuming soy, I would just really make sure that it's organic because we have a lot of GMO soy in the United States. I would prioritize organic produce, grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, healthy fats, olive oils, avocados, just like really good, nutritious whole food. I would avoid as much as possible processed food chemicals, seed oils, things like that. I know there's a lot of debate around seed oils about whether or not that's actually based in science. From what I can see is that they can be inflammatory, and anything that has the potential to be inflammatory I'm going to want to cut out, because a lot of our diseases these days stem from inflammation, and so anything that could potentially be causing inflammation, want to ideally look at your diet and find sources of that. A lot of times people in the fertility space will recommend doing an elimination diet, so something like the AIP diet, to find your food-based triggers for inflammation. That can be a really helpful place to start. What I personally did was the Egg Quality Diet by Amy Raupp. So if you're in the fertility space, I definitely recommend checking her stuff out. I'll pop her book up on the screen and I will also link it in the description below for you guys to check out. But definitely diet is a huge potential source of healing for us. Diet is everything, and if we're eating horrible things and thinking that our fertility is going to get better somehow magically, it's just not. Diet is so important. Diet is such a huge piece of our health and fertility picture. So the second thing that I would do if I was starting out on a holistic healing or fertility journey would be to do acupuncture, and to go to an acupuncturist who is also a certified herbalist or a doctor of Chinese medicine so that they can also prescribe you herbs. In the past, I have found Chinese herbs to be hugely helpful, and acupuncture is just really amazing, even for just like calming your nervous system, but it also just, there's some kind of magic about it. It works. There have been lots of studies about acupuncture for women with POI. It has shown to have the potential to bring back periods in women who have lost their periods. It has shown the potential to increase AMH. It has shown the potential to lower FSH, to just improve hormones in general, especially if you are going through a journey like perimenopause or something. Acupuncture and Chinese herbs can be so hugely helpful, and if you have some kind of other health issue that you are dealing with, there's definitely something that they will be able to do to help. The third thing that I would do if I was starting out on a holistic healing or fertility journey is to take the proper supplements for my particular situation. When I started out, I made sure I was taking a methylated prenatal, so something with methylfolate in it, because a lot of people have the MTHFR gene mutation. In practice, it's been shown that methylfolate is much better for people with the MTHFR gene mutation. I personally have one of the MTHFR gene mutations. It's the more mild one that I have, the more mild variant, but I also got my homocysteine checked recently and it was in a really good range, which sometimes if you have the MTHFR gene mutation, the homocysteine can be super high. The fact that mine was in a perfect range, and I have been taking methylfolate for the past like 5 years, so that can give you a little bit of I mean, of course, we can't 100% prove that me taking methylfolate is what has led to my good homocysteine level, but it's definitely, I think it definitely plays a role in that. Taking a good prenatal vitamin, and for me it was also taking antioxidants because I have POI, so that's accelerated ovarian aging. You want to reduce oxidative stress in your body, and for that you want to take good antioxidants. For me that was CoQ10, NAC, and others also taking vitamin C, very high quality fish oil as well because it's anti-inflammatory and gives you those good healthy omega-3s. If I didn't say, vitamin D3 and K2 is super important, especially with women with POI or low AMH, diminished ovarian reserve. Vitamin D has been shown to be really amazing anti-aging, and I think about 75% of the population are low in vitamin D. But just always remember, test, don't guess. So with supplementing, you definitely want to test and not guess. You don't want to be just taking whatever and not knowing if your body needs it or not. Definitely getting comprehensive blood work and looking at what your body needs is something that I would do. It's something that I did when I started my journey, and I'm really glad that I did. It took all the guesswork out of it, knew exactly what I needed to take, and just helped to point me in the right direction of what I should be taking and what I did not need to be taking. The fourth thing that I would do if I was on a holistic healing and fertility journey would be to find a functional medicine doctor. Going to a functional medicine doctor has been one of the biggest game changers for me. Functional medicine doctors look for the root cause of your problems. So they look at things like inflammation, gut issues, toxin overload. They try to find what it is that is causing your health and fertility problems. And I have noticed the biggest changes in my health since going to a functional medicine doctor. I healed my gut with them, and I also have done IV ozone therapy, and just different kinds of modalities, things that they offer have made big changes in my overall health, fertility, and vitality. The fifth thing that I would do if I was starting out on a holistic healing and fertility journey would be to reduce my toxic load. Now, I know that there's a lot of debate around this, guys, and I know that a lot of people think that the whole detoxification is kind of a load of baloney, but there are actually, if you search on PubMed, so many studies linking certain toxins to fertility problems, to health problems of all kinds, to cancers. It is something that is true, but is still considered fringe science for some reason, even though there are thousands of peer-reviewed studies out there. I don't know why that is. I think that because it's been politicized a lot, it's been discredited because it's been tied to certain radical political ideologies. I will tell you right now that I am not in that camp, but I still believe in this stuff because I know that it's not fringe science. There are legitimate peer-reviewed studies out there showing that this stuff is true about toxins and our health and our fertility. Even Greenpeace recently posted something about plastics and plastics in the kitchen, and how using plastics in the kitchen is causing us to have plastics within our bodies. They have even found nanoplastics in ovaries and testicles and in our brains. So this stuff is real. Again, I don't know why it's considered fringe science, but I feel the need to really drive this home because people sometimes will hear this and they will just tune out. And I just want to really drive this home that this is really, really, really important. So now that I have gone through all of that spiel, let's go ahead and jump into the reducing toxic load. There's several parts to this point. Is the first thing that I would do would be to clean up bath and beauty products, because it is probably the easiest thing to do. You're always running out of products, and so you can just easily replace them one by one. I know it can be really overwhelming to be like, I'm throwing everything away and starting buying everything new, and that can be really impossible for a lot of people. Just like taking it slowly and doing it one product at a time. Like when you run out of things, you can replace it with a new one. That is what I did. I use AWG's Skin Deep database and the Think Dirty app to check all of my products. I just make sure that they score well, that they don't have any endocrine disrupting ingredients or any toxic ingredients that can be harmful or can bioaccumulate, can cause different kinds of health issues. So I just make sure to look at the score. Sometimes I take it with a grain of salt. Like if something, like with certain acids, for example, I might use AHA, BHA, and those can kind of sometimes, and glycolic acid, those things can kind of score a little bit higher because they make you more sensitive to the sun. But because I use SPF, I take that rating with a grain of salt a little bit. But I just make sure they break it down for you so you can look at why each product has each rating, and it's very, very helpful. Not all products are on there, but you can like build your own report on AWG's Skin Deep database, and that is very helpful. So if you find a product you want to try that's not in the database, you can do that. And I think with the Think Dirty app, you can also kind of submit a product with the ingredients, and they can give you like a preliminary reading without being manually vetted by their staff. So this is just focusing on what goes on and in your body. This is a great place to start. The next thing that I would do is to start detoxing my home environment. So this includes things like your cleaning products. It also includes things that you use every day, like like your mattress, your pillows. I like to make sure, and I don't know how to pronounce this. I know that I'm saying it wrong, but I'm just gonna say OEKO Text Standard 100 certified. This is like a good preliminary place to start. There's also GOTS certified organic cotton, like textiles, home textile, mattresses, things like that. I just try to make sure that they've got some kind of certification using chemicals that are safer for humans, because there are a lot of toxic chemicals in mattresses. Like there's formaldehyde, they have flame retardants in pillows and things, which, you know, it's good because if your house catches fire, your pillow's not going to catch fire, your mattress is not going to catch fire, but it's also exposing you to chemicals that are harming your health. I just personally went and I got a Brentwood mattress. We had to replace our mattress anyways, and we got a Brentwood Home one. It's got like all of the certifications for being safe for human health, so I bought that one. And then when I get new pillows and things, I try to make sure they're OEKO Tech Standard 100 and using down pillows, cotton as much as possible, natural fibers, and then also cookware. So cookware, you want to avoid non-stick coatings. The only ones that I would trust are Our Place, the Always Pan, and I believe it's Caraway. I think they're okay. I'm not 100% sure. I do use Our Place, and according to them, they don't have PFAs in their products, but also just using stainless steel and cast iron are really good. And then making sure you're not using plastic or nylon or silicone with heat in the kitchen. Like I try to use either stainless steel or wood utensils, and that just like helps to minimize more toxins. And then making sure you've got a water filter, a good water filter in your home. We have a lot of toxins in our water, even with the EPA. I mean, there are still PFAs in our water, even though we've recently discovered that they're extremely harmful to human health. They're still above the safe levels of PFAs in water and all kinds of other toxins. Making sure you have a good water filter, and then also getting a good air purifier. I live in Southern California. We are prone to wildfires. I have an air filter in my house. And then just trying to reduce plastics where possible, storing your food in glass containers instead of plastic. That's what I did, and I can at least control my home environment. I can't control the world out there, but I can control the environment where I spend most of my time. And then the last point in this reducing toxic load is to, especially if you're on a fertility journey, is to wear organic cotton underwear. You do not want to be wearing plastic around your reproductive organs. That's one of the first things I did, was to change out my underwear and use all organic cotton. Quince sells like a pack of 5 organic cotton underwear, and they're great. They're really great quality. They're better than the other ones I found out there. Like I like Packed, but I've had some issues with their quality, and I also got some from Gap that ended up falling apart really fast, but the Quince ones are really good quality. So I don't have an affiliate link, but I can link them for you anyways in the description. The 6th thing that I would do if I was starting on a healing or fertility journey would be to regulate my nervous system. Now I know this is talked about a lot and it's a little bit of a cliche, but it is so important. Stress levels really affect your health and they really affect your fertility. It's just facts, unfortunately, and we need to find ways to manage our stress, and that can be with meditation, with breath work, with getting physical activity, getting out in nature, doing therapy. Therapy is a huge one. So finding ways that you can manage your stress shouldn't be overlooked. That was a huge one for me. I started going to therapy and I use ASMR as a calming tool. I also have a meditation practice, not always super consistent with it, but I try to meditate as much as I can. So we talked about reducing toxic load, and now I want to talk a little bit about detoxifying. So this is about the toxins that you already have in your body, not about the ones that you're willingly putting on your body every day without knowing it. So for focusing on detoxification, what I did starting out my fertility and healing journey was to make sure I'm getting good exercise, sweating it out. I started going to a sauna. So with fertility, you have to kind of be careful with saunas because you don't want to be going into a sauna during your 2-week wait, because you're not allowed to go in saunas when you're pregnant. So for the first half of your cycle before you ovulate, you can go into saunas, I believe, and then the second half you don't really want to be doing it. And I believe that I've been told to limit it to 20 minutes, but just like sweating out the toxins is very important for our health, our fertility, and our future children. And then I also take glutathione every single day, which is the master detoxifier. We make glutathione, but as we get older, we stop making so much of it. And then also castor oil packs. You can do them over your liver and you can do them over your abdomen. I do them over my abdomen during my follicular phase to help with follicle recruitment, but you can also do them over your liver to help with detoxification. Again, I think that's something that you don't want to do in the second half of your cycle. I know that you don't want to use it over your abdomen in the second half of your cycle, but I think also with the liver, you don't want to be doing castor oil packs if you could be pregnant if you're in your 2-week wait. And also working with a functional medicine practitioner to help detoxify can be a really big thing, and a functional medicine practitioner can order you tests to see what kind of toxic load you have. And lastly, I'm just going to go over a couple of bonus little things that could be important to focus on when you are on a healing and fertility journey. And one of those is to sleep like it's your job. Make sure you're getting good quality sleep. I think women actually need 9+ hours of sleep because of our intricate hormone dance. Of course, all of those studies they did on sleep that say you need 8 hours were done on men. So actually the data that they've been finding out about women is that we actually need more sleep than that. Getting good quality sleep, finding a good magnesium spray, using blue light blockers, things that can help with your circadian rhythm. Those are hugely helpful for your hormone health and by extension your overall health and your fertility. And then also just having supportive relationships. Make sure to reach out, make sure to find community, look for Facebook groups, use the comments here to support each other. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I am trying to make a point of being there with women, and I'm hoping that like once I make a larger community, I would love to do like a Facebook group so that we can kind of all be there for each other. And that is something that I'm kind of focusing on wanting to do in the near future, hopefully within the next year or so. We'll see how my community growth goes, but that is something that I'm thinking about. And just I have found that having a community of women who support each other, it's priceless, and it goes a long way to helping you feel like you're not alone. And anyway, just know that I'm here. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, make sure you go and follow me over there. I have my accounts linked in the description. And that's it, guys. This journey isn't linear. Healing isn't linear. My healing journey has not been linear. There have been ups, there have been downs. I have had amazing hormone levels and then bad hormone levels and then amazing hormone levels again. It's just so important to remember that healing is just, it's not linear, and dealing with a complex medical diagnosis and trying to support your body through that. I mean, it can be difficult. It can be so difficult, but it's worth it. And all of this stuff has really helped me to be where I am now. And like this cycle, if you're here and you have POI, this cycle I had a 400 level estradiol, which is amazing. I could not believe that. So just know that there's hope. You're not alone. And I'm sending so much love to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed if you are not subscribed yet. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.